All set for our second game of the day. Can Ireland create history and win for the first time ever in South Africa? We're about to find out as we join our match commentators Paul Wallace and Will Chignell.
Thank you very much, Simon. There's a huge sense of anticipation for Irish fans and trepidation for Springbok ones. They know about the history between these two sides, as you can see there. There's a lot of talk that we might just witness history being made today, and that Ireland will see their first ever test match being victorious in South Africa. This would be quite an atmosphere to do it. The locals like their rugby red-blooded and raw, and this crowd is hostile, isn't it?
Yeah, the Bloemfontein faithful, they're always very lively. During the week they were sort of saying that Ireland might be the side to favour, but the crowd here seem to be quite supportive of the Springboks.
And there we see the Ireland side, a very settled team as well, the same 15 that beat Scotland in the Six Nations to win the Triple Crown. The visitors have over 300 caps worth of experience. Malcolm O'Kelly wins cap number 65. Paul O'Connell alongside him comes with a big reputation too. The Munstermen, Peter Stringer and Ronan O'Gara are the halfbacks, and arguably the most talented midfield combination in the world. Brian O'Driscoll and Gordon Darcy play in the centres. It is a very well balanced side.
Yeah, the line-out's going to be very important, and I think O'Kelly and O'Connell will have to they're up against Matt Field and Botha, who are very good line-out forwards. If they can control possession, then the Irish halfbacks, Stringer and UK, can get them bound the field.
Well, this is one of the most inexperienced South African teams ever to take the field. 4 new caps in Eddie Andrews, Fourie Dupree, Henny Mens and Jack Cronje. The latter a late starter after Juan Smith pulled a hamstring on Thursday. Experience though from Os Durant. The Ox is back after 4 years in the wilderness. Jaco van der Westhuizen is fly half. Happy du Toit, fullback. He returns after 5 years out of the Springbok setup. The atmosphere is really building here, and there are a lot of South African supporters that are pretty twitchy about this one. The Ireland team come with a lot of confidence, far from playing up the plucky underdogs tag. There's a lot of talk that they really feel they can do a job. Brian O'Driscoll was saying he doesn't want 1-1 as a series win, he wants 2-0. And these are the replacements. 14 men wait in the wing for 2 Springboks wait to make their debuts. Hanye Shimanya and Jerry Brits. Over 200 caps worth of experience for the Irish. David Humphreys and Kevin Maggs both look to make their 64th appearance for their country. Well, the world rankings see Ireland 5th, South Africa 6th. Both sides have been on the move in recent years, but in different directions. Ireland will want to keep the momentum going. The Springboks will be desperate to kickstart a resurgence.
Yes, and I think we were just looking at the bench there. I think it'll be very important for the Irish management to take the altitude into consideration and maybe try and spring them from the bench a bit earlier. I think Eddie O'Sullivan sort of referred that he might do that.
Well, these two nations have been locking horns for nearly 100 years. Ireland, of course, have only ever won once, back in '65 in Dublin. But Jordan Murphy, for example, said he believes Ireland are world class. He says you have to be a little bit arrogant, you have to have self-belief if you're going to get to the top of the pile.
Yes, the Irish backline now is really becoming one of Ireland's big strengths, and I think in this game they will. They've got that experience, and their finishing has been superb this season. And I think with Darcy especially, O'Driscoll will be trying to show, get back to the man of the match tags, which he has been getting before him. And with Murphy coming back in, Horgan and Dempsey, it's a very strong attacking force.
Well, it's match number 14 in a season that began last July for the Irish. Preparation has all been about quality, not quantity. Now, though, the waiting is over. Brian O'Driscoll leads his side out. It's a bullish, hungry and confident team. And to be the best of the best, these are the sort of matches that they must win.
Yes, this is a major test for Ireland. The Triple Crown victories, they managed to beat England away, which was a wayward performance by England. They're coming to one of the toughest places to play Test rugby, and if they can pull something off here, it'll be a major step forward.
A good travelling Irish contingent, but the South Africans will be very keen to try and get the crowd behind them. The Irish, conversely, will be keen to try and quieten this crowd down fairly smartly.
They will indeed, and I think the first 10 minutes will be very important. The South Africans will come very hard, and their big physical side, the likes of Durant back in the fold now, they'll try and take Ireland on the scrum, the maul, and if Ireland can stand up and get over the first 10-15 minutes, well, I think then their experience will come in.
So in the first match of Jake White's reign as coach, the pressure is mounting already. These are the 15 players in the spotlight, and as ever, they're expected to do South Africa proud. The side has had its injury problems, up to 8 first-choice players out, but this team is young, ambitious, and will rip into Ireland.
Yes, again, the back line, I think you've got Joubert there. He'll be missing Duet Barry, who was a bad loss for South Africa. But I think Joubert will be a danger man there. Dutoit, his kicking has been very good, and he'll be looked to tactically get them downfield and use the altitude with the flight of the ball.
Well, both teams have been talking of a very physical encounter. Eddie O'Sullivan says the Springboks will be in their faces, aggressive, but he confirmed Ireland will meet that head-on. The early forward exchanges will no doubt go quite some way to determining who gets the momentum.
Yeah, there's a lot of grit in the Irish pack, especially some of the Munster players, the likes of Paul O'Connell and Anthony Foley. You know, they're battle-hardened guys. I think they'll be able to take them on up front in the first 10 minutes and then create a decent platform for Stringer and O'Gara to tactically control the game.
So many interesting selections. Oz Durant, of course, he's got a big job to do today. This crowd know their rugby. They are desperate for victories. But there are those 4 Springboks making their debuts, and Ireland no doubt will pinpoint them.
I think so. I think a Heno Metz, there might be a Gary Owen going up there maybe under a bit of pressure. Also Andrews at prop. He's going to be Reggie Corrigan will be having a good look at him. Reggie Corrigan himself got injured in the last tour in '98, and I'm sure he'll be looking to get a bit of retribution in the scrum.
Here are the national anthems. Crowd certainly appreciating the Irish national anthem, and this is a big moment, a big test match for both sides. Now South Africa's national anthem.
Ngozi sikaleli Afrika.
It is a hotbed, it is noisy, and as you could see in that South African national anthem, it is emotional as well. Eddie Andrews in tears. As ever, the Springboks under pressure, they are determined to put in a massive show today.
Yeah, this is a new dawn for South African rugby. Jake White's first game in charge. He'll be looking with the new caps to come in to lead that extra sparkle that they need to perform at the top end. And I'm sure we're going to really see a big physical assault here in the first 5 minutes.
Your referee is a Northern Hemisphere whistler. It's Tony Spreadbury. He's quite a character. He's been 14 years on the Test circuit. And it'll be interesting to see how he break down.
Around a long time. South Africa fixtures that any off-the-ball stuff is sorted out very early, and
so in the Bloemfontein Bear Pit it's going to be a heck of a battle. Ireland are chasing a place in the history books. It's not happening. Happy to Toy starts this match here in Bloemfontein. Dempsey calls and takes. Both sides will be very keen to settle early. O'Gara, Van der Westhuizen was screaming down on him, but that was a good first touch made by the fly half.
Yeah, it's good. They fielded it quite well. They tried to take him by going the other way. Normally they kick over to the left-hand side. Dempsey handled very well, and O'Gara got a very good clearance.
Much talk about the line-outs and how Ireland are good thieves. Here's the first real chance for Scout Berger. 6 on his back, but he'll be playing open side. He's a flyer. He's very, very abrasive at the breakdown. He's the first scrum of the day.
Stretch and hold. Stay.
On Durant there.
Stand up. Reset.
Just feeling each other out. Durant against Hayes, Corrigan up against the new cap Eddie Andrews.
It is very interesting here. Hayes and Durant, they're both massive men. Both like to scrummage high. Hayes will try and keep it low, and has secured a great scrum.
Stringer, O'Gara looks up, looks for space, but he's overcooked that. And remember, we are playing at altitude, and it doesn't take much because the ball does fly a lot further. But he had a lot of gas on that one.
That was disappointing. It was good possession from the scrum. Maybe Ronan should have played a bit safer and tried not to get every extra inch out of it.
So the skipper to throw in for South Africa. Botha taps it back. Dupree puts it on to Berger, who doesn't mind a bit of biff. It's the skipper now. Smith on the 22. Sparky start. Van der Westhuizen. Scout Berger. Tackled by Wallace.
Leave it.
South Africa want this quick ball. They want to go through the phases. Little flick there from Van der Westhuizen. Wanneberg with 7 on his back.
Stay away.
Ireland tried to steal this ball, but it comes back to Berger. Julies, and here is the first chance for South Africa. Becky's Botha rolls and scores!
Well, that's the onslaught we expected. The Irish defence didn't hold up. They were caught for numbers on the left-hand side. Botha took a nice little break, and to be honest, the Irish defence needs to get up into South Africans' faces a lot more and not leave them get their big men running, because they're very good runners with the ball, very powerful, and very good hands in the offload.
Well, they went through 3 or 4 phases, and then Botha pinned his ears back.
Yeah, Botha is known as a bit of a hard man, but he showed some great athleticism there, and a great, he kept his head there when a lot of guys might have either tried to play the ball out. He saw how close he was to the line and managed to reach out. But the Irish defence need to regroup now, and I think maybe the build-up to this game was maybe a bit too pro-Irish, and maybe they'll have realised that they're certainly in for a physical match up front.
Well, it'll give the Springboks so much confidence, and a real test now for Ireland to come snapping back at this lead. Du Toit will try and make 7 from 5. This is first test match in almost 6 years. He'll be keen for a good start. It's not what he wanted, it was very kickable. He is unpredictable, but what a start from the Springboks.
Yes, they were just caught for numbers out wide. The South Africans spread it, over one side of the pitch, back the other. Forwards were linking in. Everyone helped out. As there's about 2 or 3 forwards out there. O'Kelly was sucked in, and maybe was it Darcy should have also, or O'Gara should have basically given this man too much room on the outside.
Thank you.
O'Gara to restart, and very nicely taken by Victor Matfield. Now quite happy to drive it up and suck in the Irish forwards.
Go back 1, green 1, go back, green 1, go back. Thank you.
Making good headway, the Springboks, almost up to halfway now, and continuing to drive.
Yeah, that's the big beefy South African pack. They're very good maulers. They keep very high, so it's hard to bring it down without giving away a penalty.
Advantage knock on.
Turnover. Gordon Darcy had no room in which to manoeuvre. Advantage still being played by Spreadbury, and Foley takes it up. Stringer, O'Gara.
Advantage over.
Advantage over, says the referee, looking for a kind bounce, and that is a cracking strike.
Yeah, that's much better from O'Gara. He didn't overcook at that time. I think he might have played a bit safer, but he's put Ireland in a great position now.
But what a thunderous maul from the Springboks.
Yeah, the big men there up front doing the hard work in front of the ball. A lot of people might have said it was truck and trailer there, but they did it so well in such pace, it was hard to give away anything.
Knock on over there, we're up here.
Now deep inside the Springbok half, inside the 22, and Ireland will be keen to try and pilfer a little bit of ball here.
Space. Go back.
Yeah, the Irish side like to keep sides down here and challenge in the air. O'Kelly and O'Connell are very good at getting an upsetting ball.
Come on, let's go.
John Smith.
Play on.
Botha takes it, and then taken swiftly by Matfield. Now the ball was set, but
Holding. Wait.
Du Toit rips into that one. He has got a nuclear boot.
Yeah, you can see the experience there. He knew you can clear the ball that sort of distance without any worries. Interesting to see that Du Toit is taking the kicking duties there in defence with his longer boot, rather than traditionally going to Van der Vestes in the out half.
White, stay there. Do not come in.
So Shane Byrne now that has the ball in his hands, one of the best line-out throwers in the world. In the World Cup, he had an 84% success rate. But the Springboks will want to climb into his efforts. Taken by Easterby.
Don't go in there. Come on.
Byrne at the base.
Go back, White 3. Go back, White 4.
Now maybe the Irish can work their way into the Springboks.
Get out, White 6. Go back.
Making good headway now.
White.
Stringer, O'Gara.
Turn, hands out, Ruck.
Darcy came thumping up there. Penalty, Ireland.
Yeah, that's great stuff. You can see Shane Byrne, he does very similar to Neil Back does for England and for Leicester, just sticking at the back of the maul, leaving everyone else do the hard work in front and keeping the ball safe at the back. It was a good line in by Darcy, and hands in the ruck has given Ireland a good chance of getting on the scoreboard by O'Gara.
Darcy taking it up, and that's Skalkberger trying to steal it. Mentioned before, he's so competitive at the breakdown, and It will be important that he gets on the right side of Tony Spreadbury.
Yes, I think at this altitude and with a slight swirling breeze, but nothing too strong, the game could well be settled with penalties which can be kickable from the halfway line.
Ronan O'Gara now with the chance to reduce South Africa's lead to just 2. It's easily long enough, and it is bang on target. That's a cracking effort.
That was a wonderful strike. It'll give Ronan a lot of confidence now after miss-kicking that first clearance kick. I'm sure now he can probably settle down a bit, and hopefully we'll see him try and dictate the game if the Irish line-out can continue to get good ball.
Well, the Springboks now know that they cannot give away penalties in their own half, because O'Gara is quite capable of punishing them. Little knock on there, and they will be brought back. No glory. I know Metz couldn't take it. I think he probably knew in his heart of hearts Spreadbury had called that one, but now a solid platform wanted by Ireland.
Again, the Irish scrum looking very solid there. It went down, and John Hayes is trying to keep the sheer size of Oscar Rant and his long back, trying to keep him down low, so as to keep the Irish scrum very solid.
It's not out.
Stringer, O'Gara put under pressure by his opposite number, but he does well.
Yeah, he maybe didn't get as much as he wanted, as you could see from his facial expression there. But Ireland, they're beginning to start winning their ball, putting a bit of game together. If they just control the line out, get amongst the South African throw-in, and try and get a bit more possession.
Lovely off the top ball, and Van der Westhuizen takes it flat, and Julie's now the replacement for the vet Barry. Jacob Van der Westhuizen gets that because it looked as though it was coming back Ireland's way, but it's an advantage to the Springboks.
Number 5 on the side.
Field.
Number 5 from the gate, please. Number 5, wrong way. Number 5, wrong way.
Yeah, Ireland looked like they were well set up in defence there. There was very careless. There was no need really to come in on the side there. It's put a very easy kickable penalty now for Detoy, and put South Africa back in the driving seat.
I think it was Paul O'Connell that has been singled out for not going from behind his own player's rearmost feet and through the gate, as Spreadbury says. Detoy, who pretty much shanked that first one, now has a really good chance to get back in the saddle. Detoy made his debut for the Springboks here in 1998 against Ireland. Now keen to take 3 points. Yes, but he wasn't the most confident of kicks.
Yes, but nonetheless it puts them back in the driving seat. Ireland have a capability of giving away silly penalties at pressure times like that. They just got in with a nice penalty, and that was the last thing they needed. I think they need to trust their defence more so when they're well set up, when they've already slowed the ruck ball down, and not give away those silly penalties.
Keeping the penalty count low, of course, in this altitude is vital. Both sides will know that. O'Gara restarts. Taken well again by Victor Matfield.
Again, South Africa looking to get a bit of maul, get a bit of headway and get in behind the Irish defence.
Ireland will want to try and cut that off at source, but Springboks made quite some metres up towards the halfway line. The ball spits out, and O'Kelly is after it. Mistake from Van der Westhuizen, and Scout Berger goes back to retrieve the situation. Maybe a chance for a counter. Warnerberg, who was due to play number 8
Leave it, Green.
till the injury to Juan Smith. He takes the ball up and it enables the clearance to be made.
Yeah, O'Kelly did very well there. He chased the ball, but could have got a lucky bounce, and then it nearly looked like a counter-attack by Scott Berger. But you know, it leaves Ireland in a very good position here, and if they can win this, you know, they look at probably trying to attack through the midfield, giving O'Driscoll a bit of space, and maybe Darcy.
Impeccable lineouts from both sides so far. Shane Byrne to Foley, Corrigan, and now driven up into the heart of the Springbok line. Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll, he's cut them straight open. One man to beat, he draws the man. Ireland has scored in the corner. They have indeed. It's Shane Horgan.
That was just classic O'Driscoll again. You give him 1 inch of space and he's just had that acceleration and power to just pull through a gap, and it perfectly drew the man and to lead Horgan in.
Quite brilliant from Brian O'Driscoll. He is dynamite.
And this is great here. The inside centre leaves O'Driscoll a bit too much space, and he draws Du Toit, and Shane Horgan, nice and wide, has no problem running that in.
O'Driscoll drifted off his man so beautifully. The timing of the pass was impeccable.
Yes, I think you've got to stick on O'Driscoll. If you give him any bit of space at all, he can really just step a guy, and his acceleration off the mark is just incredible. But I think what's even better there was the way he timed. Du Toit left his option short by just standing and leaving O'Driscoll drag him rather than try and put O'Driscoll under pressure before he passed.
Nothing.
O'Gara then to convert Morgan's try. Not quite. But the Springboks, well, they know how dangerous O'Driscoll is. They could do nothing about it there.
Yeah, that's just great. And also, you know, they had Dempsey trailing there as well. I think that was always going to be a try once O'Driscoll had broken the South African defence. Again, the defence hasn't played long together, so it looks a bit disorganised.
Foley and O'Gara both went for that one, but
Leave it white.
O'Gara managed to get his paws on it, take it up.
Hold.
Murphy. He's another world-class magician.
Yeah, it just shows the talent of Jordan Murphy, that he can just stop in there. You know, it's great having a full-back on the wing that you can just fall back and, you know, to take kicks like that. So you got Dempsey as well as another option.
Leave him in the air. They are.
And Ireland have stolen their first line out of the afternoon. Stringer. O'Gara takes that one back to Wallace. Making good headway, Wallace, and he's a very clever carrier, taking it up, providing a focal point for the forwards. And Foley now put to deck pretty quickly, but a penalty coming to Ireland.
Oh, you completely had the tackler, get him completely
Ireland don't
quickly.
actually have that many world-class ball carriers, but David Wallace there certainly showed his pace and power to get in behind the South African defence.
Tackler not moving quick enough.
Here you see he takes it in, beats his men. He nearly had an accidental offside with Shane Byrne, but he puts the South Africans on the back front, and then obviously Foley was able to take the ball up and infringement by the South African side.
Okay.
Ireland really settling down now and finding their rhythm.
Yeah, I think the initial onslaught, a lot of sides might have sort of folded a bit with that early try, but the Irish side has got a lot of experience. The combinations there have played together many times, and I think they have enough trust within each other to sort of regroup and come back at South Africa, which they have done.
O'Gara has shown that he shouldn't have any problem with distance. Bullseye.
Yeah, another great kick. It just shows it's a pleasure to kick in this sort of still ground, and the altitude as well. You don't have to put as much into the kick, so you can actually aim a bit better.
Stay behind, please.
Skipper John Smith will be very keen that his side does not commit any more infringements. Foley took that one and then bashed his way upfield.
That's fine. No,
Ireland
wait,
tried to make a metre or two more around the fringes, but stopped pretty smartly.
Again, a great clearance by O'Gara. He's sitting back there, taking the ball nice and deep, and just controlling, using his. He's got a very long kick, and he's also using the altitude to put Ireland into very good field positions.
The lineouts are so competitive. Both teams pride themselves in this area.
How many scrum halves do you want?
Not just in securing their own ball, of course, but thieving the opposition's.
6. You're right.
Ireland stole the last Springbok lineout. Taken cleanly there, and Matfield now found a bit of time to get ahead up his team. Dupree to the Ox, direct. The ball has been turned over, and Corrigan takes it up.
Well played.
Springboks counter-rucking and getting a put in for their trouble.
There's no ruck and roll, there's nothing.
South Africa, they're very competitive at the breakdown. And the Irish will have to, maybe instead of 2 or 3 players going into the ruck, maybe go back to 4 or 5, especially in tight situations like that.
Scrummy, there, please.
Yeah, it's open country there. The ball seemed to pop out. Corrigan adapted well and took the ball up to give Ireland a good position.
Early go.
Taken quickly, the free kick by the Springboks. Dupree, Van der Westhuizen. Berger straightening up.
Put away 6.
Du Toit. Waniba.
Hands away, leave it, wait. That's why
the Springboks trying to work their way through the phases, and here is the try scorer. Quite happy to take it up himself. Fulser.
Away tackler, hands out, leave it. Ruck.
Crowd is noisy. They think they've seen something, and Spreadbury agrees. He's giving the penalty to the Springboks.
Corner ruck.
Darcy did very well getting in on. He's very low, getting in on the ball and trying to get it. But I think that time there was just hands in the ruck. He was a bit too late getting in on it.
Thank you.
South Africa seem to be playing a very wide game now, trying to draw the Irish defence. If you play touchline to touchline, it creates gaps in defence as they have to cover a much greater area.
Here we have the infringement.
Yeah, you can see he was in there quickly, but the South Africans hit the ruck, and he should really have let go at that stage.
So Du Toit with his chance to add 3 for the Springboks. Winning his 7th cap today. This to level the scores. He squeaked that inside the upright. The flags are raised. The scores are level, 11-all. Quarter of the match gone, and nothing to split these two sides. The pre-match talk is about right so far that it is going to be so close.
Yeah, the South Africa look very good going forward, but their defence looks very shaky, as we saw with O'Driscoll's try. It'll be up to Ireland to get good field positions. If you can keep South Africa pinned in their half, they don't look like they have that sort of breakout ability to score down the Irish side.
O'Gara hoists it high, and Botha, who's having quite a game so far,
You've
takes
got the
it.
ball, South Africa. Play on.
South Africa just setting themselves, organising the forwards, and now the rumble.
2 green, go back,
Ireland
mate.
will need to put their shoulders to the wheel. Dupree puts that long. Foley is back. So is Dempsey.
Hold.
Safe.
A good clearance by Dempsey under a bit of pressure there. Might have liked to get a bit more distance, but Dempsey's a very safe player and knew that touch needed to be found.
Stay there. Stay there. 6 man, please.
South Africa with a lot of ball to attack. 10 times they've gone close, 5 times out wide. Here is Berger. Smacking it up.
Wait.
Dupree. Now
Roll away, tackler.
forwards through Durant. Smith taking it. Dutoit trying to release Pulser, but Ireland were alive to the threat.
Yeah, very good defence by Ireland on the blind side. There was nothing really on there. They had no space, and they should really have tried to keep that infield and regroup and play out of the phase.
From the first phase,
Right, and hold.
you can see 75% success rate for Ireland.
Hold it. Hold it.
Not so clever for the
Stay back, stay
Springboks.
down. Stay. Stay.
The Irish scrum under a bit of pressure there as Durant managed to get Hayes up in the air.
O'Gara hoists it high. Dutoit caught by
Go
O'Driscoll.
away, 17. Wait.
Advantage being played to Ireland. O'Kelly races away. Can he make the line? He's so close, just dragged down short. Holding on. What drama here in Bloemfontein.
That's very unlucky for O'Kelly. He was so close, and I thought with his reach he might just make it. He's got a great turn of pace when he gets out in the midfield. He did very well there, and it's just a pity that there was no one else to react to actually clear the ball and recycle it.
Ball out, John, yeah.
The holds are appearing in this Springbok defence, and they just get away with it there. Dutoit now to clear his side's lines. He hits it a mile, and he gets the bounce.
That is a massive kick from right on their line, nearly accepting a score from O'Kelly. They're now right back down in the Irish 22, and will try and pressurise that Irish scrum line out.
There is O'Kelly racing away, and Van der Westhuizen does very well to drag him down.
Ball out,
Ireland
that's
can't
fine, yeah.
quite clear the ball there, but what a thump from Dutoit. Ireland will know to defend very deep in the future. Berg, Dupree, Westhuizen, Hubert. Westhuizen comes through, chips it, wants to collect himself. Ireland go racing back. Now that was slapped back. 5-metre scrum.
That was very marginal. They couldn't accept it and had to palm it back over the line, which
No.
is the same as throwing into touch, I believe. So lucky that it's only a scrum.
Well, Ireland showing they're fallible as well.
Yeah, you know, when you're close to the line like that, everyone's got to come up. Darcy did very well coming back, but you know, you always leave yourself open close to the line for a kick through.
It's great, no problems, but it's very loose, and there aren't many rucks or mauls, so you're not getting off sidelines. Hence the reason the ball's available, and off they go.
Well, both living on the edge. Darcy just
carried over.
slapped that one off.
The ball's bubbling
He
around.
was lucky.
Listen, lads, there's been no rucks or mauls, so go steady, all right? If you want off sideline. Hang on, there's some time.
Lower review, Players Player of the Year, Gordon Darcy.
Time on,
Hasn't had a chance to get the ball in his hands much offensively yet. Now,
hold it.
Ireland will need to be on their mettle.
Great scrum, go steady.
A very powerful scrum there by South Africa. Ireland trying to get the left-hand side of their scrum up through Corrigan, so they can't get a straight platform to go. South Africa very confident in their scrum with the sheer weight and bulk they have, and will be looking maybe to go the whole way over here.
Get it in.
Dupree being told to get it in.
Wait. Go on.
Grenier at the base. Penalty to the Springboks.
Yeah, well, that looked like a fair indicator. The South African scrum was going forward quite nicely, and the Irish side collapsed on Corrigan's side. They're going for another scrum, so they're really looking at going route one and go straight over that line.
Corrigan against Andrews, Durant against Hayes. Those are the props. They're locking horns at the moment.
Wait, don't cut out. Stay down. Go back.
Good drive from the Springboks.
Stay there.
Grenier tries to get the ball down. He looked just short.
That is short. Unlucky. Up you get. Straight down. Dribble. Well played.
There's a turnover just short.
Unlucky, mate.
Ireland very lucky there. To be honest, I thought it was another penalty against Ireland as the scrum went down just as the Irish side were backpedaling. Very close indeed. Foley did really well to get his hand in and stop it.
So did Stringer. For a small man, he really made his presence felt. just 20-1 and almost scoring on his debut.
He thought he was there. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll have a look.
Ireland will be desperate for a solid platform here.
I'm sure South Africa now are going to go for a quick shunt on the Irish throw. They will probably concentrate on Hayes' side, and be very important for him to keep the scrum very low and don't give Durant a high pushing position.
Well, the skipper is down, John Smith.
Okay, time off,
receiving a bit of attention.
No more.
You'll know what you're talking about. He played loose head at school at South Africa under 21 level until he switched to hooker.
Crouch and hold. Engage.
Here we go. That's the easiest way to clear your lines. Get the penalty.
It's a tough one to call. Again, Ireland will feel very lucky, I think, coming out of there. South Africa have them under a bit of pressure in the scrum, and I think they won't be complaining too much about Spreadbury's interpretation.
Andrews, the man pinged there, the tight head for South Africa, but the touch was missed. Here is Quaranier, and Berger came in on that short line, advantage and turnover. Spreadbury says play on.
Still playing advantage, green lock on.
Stringer. O'Gara.
Advantage over.
Playing for position. Ments goes back. Dutoy will collect this one. And Ireland will know how far he can clip this one.
Holding.
Sets himself. And again hits it a mile. Stringer traps it. Darcy has a lot of time.
Yeah, you don't want to get into a kicking game with the South Africans, especially with Gaffy Dutoy, who's well known for his ability to kick a ball very long. They're well used to the altitude and can play this kicking game as second nature. Darcy, you know, not an accomplished kicker, but he managed to find a safe touch at least.
6. Right. Stay there.
Spreadbury just counting numbers in the lineup.
Open up, please. Get up. That's fine.
Getting everything shipshape. Dupree with the service.
Not straight.
But it's not straight.
Scrummer line.
The scrum being called by Ireland.
Ireland doing well, getting up in the air. He used to be at the front, putting John Smith, who's not a no-to thrower, under a bit of pressure, and sequentially they've now got a good scrum.
Right
Stringer
shoulders.
not interested
Stand
in
up,
putting
start
the
again.
ball in there.
Come on, lads. Let's go straight. Don't give it out. Don't fade away. Price and hold. Waiting, back row. Stay. Stay.
Slowly at the base. Stringer. O'Gara. O'Driscoll! Oh, he's cutting open the Springboks again.
Away.
Playing with confidence.
No offside line.
Darcy! Darcy's got away. Lovely from Darcy. And now Jordan Murphy clips it through. Wow, wow.
That's in great place and good hands. Darcy coming in, putting away Murphy. He couldn't go the distance, but put in a clever kick to put Ireland in a good field position. They're beginning to put Smith, the thrower, under a bit of pressure. So, you know, if they can keep them down there, give them a line out and try and upset the South African line out.
And rather than playing for field position from quite a way inside their own half, they decided to play with ball in hand, and it certainly worked. Trying to steal another one.
Run away for
But a knock on from Ireland gives the Springboks the advantage.
Waiting.
Dupree. Dutoy.
Advantage over.
With his left, kicks up nicely for Gervin Dempsey. Checks his options. Looking to collect. Here's Van der Vesse's, who's caught by Shane Horgan.
Yeah, clever ball by Dempsey. He saw a bit of a gap in behind, and I think their chase was very good. They were never really under pressure there, with Van der Vesse's and having very little room to go down the touchline. Yeah, here we see Dempsey. He sees the spot in there in the corner. Van der Vesse's comes around, but Horgan has him quite comfortably.
And crucially, of course, for Ireland, they have the
no problem.
put into the line out.
They stand. Time off, please.
Darcy is down. Looks as though his shoulder, his left shoulder, is receiving a little bit of attention. He looks pretty tender on it. Brian O'Driscoll.
Is he okay?
His centre partner.
Yeah, okay. Sure,
Skipper knows what an important man this is for Ireland. Doesn't look happy.
He's looking pretty bad there, and you don't need to be carrying a shoulder injury with this strong running South African back row trying to get out in the midfield and run at them. Hopefully he should come through, because as the game progresses, I think he'll get more space and will be able to show his running ability. As you see there, the South African scrum had the Irish scrum under pressure again, but Stringer managed to get away. And again, O'Driscoll, he finds gaps where there seems to be none. Stringer feeds well, and O'Gara again. Darcy and Murphy ends up putting them in a very good field position.
Take him off then, please.
Kevin Maggs is waiting to come on. Of course,
thank you, that's fine.
Hugely experienced.
Yeah, that's fine, thanks so much.
And Darcy's afternoon looks as though it's ended. And so Kevin Maggs, cap number 64, goes into the centres.
Yeah, very disappointing for Gordon Darcy. I'd say he was really looking forward, after the back of a great Triple Crown. He was looking forward to really getting out here and showing what he's got. Kevin Maggs, he really enjoyed the South African game. He's a very physical defensive player and also runs very hard attacking lines.
Right there.
Taken by Foley. Stringer. O'Gara takes that one flat.
That's fine. That's fine. Waiting. There. Stay.
Stringer with the service. O'Driscoll. He's looking to find some space, and he certainly has done. Brilliant from O'Driscoll. Horgan, he's strong.
Get away, hands away.
Just brought down. Now driving Ireland.
Hands away, lads. Wait,
just a metre or so short.
Don't go in. Don't go in. Thank you.
O'Gara now barrelling upfield.
Let it come back. Roll away.
Ireland want to get this quick ball.
Away, White. There it is. Stay. Play on.
Stringer. Foley.
Roll away. Hands out, White.
The ball is on Ireland's side. Now,
hands away, let it come back.
Round the fringes.
Leave it.
Ireland reorganise. Still going. Easterby. Bouncing off one tackler. So close now, Ireland. But there's a penalty going to the Springboks, which relieves the pressure.
Very good defence by South Africa. Ireland was showing great patience there, but didn't get the body angles there and weren't there in time to actually clear, and henceforth had to hang on to the ball too long, and a penalty to South Africa.
The Springboks living on their wits there. And again, it was O'Driscoll that decided to cut back and cut open the Springboks there. Matthew du Toit makes a clean touch fight.
Yeah, O'Driscoll, he was very aware there the South African defence didn't pop up on the left-hand side, which they should have also done. And then there was a lot of space for him to use his pace. And again, linking with his fellow Leinster teammate, Shane Horgan. O'Kelly nearly went in afterwards.
6, please. Ireland, 6. Go back, scum half then. That's fine. Go back. Thank you.
John Smith then overthrows that one. Gratefully taken, and Maggs thunders his way upfield, pops it up nicely. Byrne. Pulser tried to intercept that one, but O'Driscoll was there to keep the move flowing. Into touch now, though.
Again, we see Kevin Maggs coming on. He's running those hard lines inside. It checks the defence from drifting off and really commits them into tight areas. Maybe a bit careless by Jordan Murphy, who's a very creative player.
Lovely deft hands, though, for Kevin Maggs to take his way upfield. Backy Bolters there.
Don't leave it,
Springboks
please, Green.
have
Go
mauled
back,
their way almost up to
right
the
back.
halfway beforehand, and Ireland won't want that this time.
Your own man sacked that. You've got
11
the ball,
points
play
apiece. But scoring opportunities for both sides in this first 34 minutes. Free. Du Toit, who is in the pocket, and you can see why. Gives that a good lick. This crowd have quietened down a little bit.
Yes, I think Ireland will be quite happy. The first 10-20 minutes are always going to be the hardest part down here. And the Irish are a very fit, mobile pack as well. So as the game goes on, hopefully they shall only get better and better.
Well played. Advantage White.
Advantage being played to the Springboks. Van der Westhuizen to Marius Hubert.
Advantage
Tackle comes in and Maggs now mops up.
Wait. Still playing advantage, knock on.
Stringer checks his options and decides that it's best to give it to his skipper.
Scrum, please. No advantage, knock on. Green ball.
Gets that off the pitch, but the advantage wasn't good enough, says Spreadbury, so back for the scrum.
Okay, yeah,
I think Brian O'Driscoll laughing at his poor clearance there. He seems to have everything else in his game perfect, but maybe kicking's one area he might do a bit more work on.
Tackling pretty solid, and Horgan came in there on Dutoy, and the ball spat up nicely for the Irish.
Stay down, stay on the right side, stay down, please. Wait.
Solid for Stringer.
Holding.
O'Gara puts that behind Mentz. Irish coming up and
Play on backwards.
Mentz almost made a hash of that one. Dutoy has a lot of time, but that was territory played by O'Gara that certainly worked.
Yeah, I think Dutoy, he should have kept that more infield. I don't think Ireland are really going to counter-attack. They haven't done so much this season. I think if they can kick it down and have a good defensive press, they would be doing a lot better against the Irish and get a bit more field position. As it is, Ireland have a line-out which they invariably always win, and it's just inside the South African side. A very good field position to, again, unleash O'Driscoll and Maggs.
Play on.
Play on, says the referee, and now it's Shane Horgan that has to be careful. Ball is bouncing.
Hold, lads.
He says, I'll thump that all the way back.
Julio Margaret was kicked.
And hope the ball doesn't go dead.
It's still alive. It's
Dupree
still alive.
is trying to attract a couple of Irish defenders. Dots the ball down. It's going to be a 22 drop out. And Dutoy has the ball in his hands, and three Irishmen in Stringer, O'Gara and Dempsey very, very deep here.
9 lads.
O'Gara on his own 22. Just caresses that one upfield to Foley. Nice sidestep to get his way past Victor Matfield. Byrne has his paws on it now. Now it's Ireland that rumbled their way upfield.
Leave it, all right,
Andrews brings the Irish to deck. Maggs
Right away, 6.
locks horns with Berger.
Backwards, play on.
Play on, says the referee. O'Connor caught. Pushes the ball between his legs. Stringer. O'Gara. It's well played by the fly half.
Yeah, Ronan O'Gara, you've seen him do it from Munster so many times. He just saw a gap between Dutoy and Paulsa and just pinned the ball perfectly in there.
He says, OK, boys, I've done my job. Forwards, it's up to you to try and nick this one.
Again, another very strong attacking position if they can try and disrupt the South African line-out.
4 in a scrum half.
Both sides will be very keen to try and go into half-time with a lead. 11-all, of course, at the moment. Matfield. Wanneberg. Tackled by Maggs. Dutoy.
Hold, please.
Well, the crowd weren't too pleased with that one, but that's pretty safe touch fine.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I think Dutoy should probably be looking at a bit more distance and getting field position rather than giving Ireland a line-out, because they're not really contesting too well on the Irish line-out.
I think he probably agrees with you, Paul. Didn't look too happy with that himself. So just a minute or so before the whistle blows, and potentially Ireland's possession through Shane Byrne now.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, thank you. Cheers. Let's go.
Spreadbury saying, let's go, let's get on with it. Corrigan into the guts of the Springboks line out. But holding on, and even from here, it is kickable.
No time for the line out.
So a chance for South Africa to take the lead into the half-time break. Spreadbury says there's no chance for you to go and find a line out. There's no time.
Yeah, signal, thank you.
Du Toit says let's go for the posts.
Yeah, Corrigan took it in well, but there was hands there and they had to hang on for dear life to the ball. The Irish forwards were close, but just that second too slow.
So Hafi Du Toit with the chance to give the Springboks a slender lead going into the half-time break.
Thank you. I'm expecting the hooks on the go after this ball is kicked, providing England's dead.
Du Toit then. He's got the distance, but he hasn't got the accuracy. And there is the half-time hooter. What a first half we've had. The half-time score, South Africa 11, Ireland 11.
Too tight to call in Bloemfontein a try apiece. This was the Ireland score. Great work by Brian O'Driscoll. Simple rugby, drew the man, he timed the pass. Shane Organ over, 11 apiece. The thoughts of the boys in the studio after the break.
Thanks, Simon. What a second 40 we have in store. Ireland, of course, chasing that historic first ever win here in South Africa, and no doubt some interesting half-time team talks handed out.
Yes, I think in the Irish dressing room they'll be looking to get O'Gara to control the game territorially as he did in the latter part of the game there. Consequently, the Du Toit also will be looking to try and keep down the Irish half.
Okay, lads,
I think the Irish, if they can get amongst the South African line out a bit more, which there's been a lot of, they can control possession.
O'Gara restarts for this Bloemfontein test match, and Matfield takes it up.
Let it go, Green! Hands out, Green!
Hands out, Green, says Spreadbury.
Waiting.
And de Westhuizen,
Holding, lads.
almost the first clearance he's had to make, because Du Toit is so often in the pocket doing that job.
Yeah, I think a better tactic for South Africa might be just to kick the ball long and get a good defensive chase. The Irish back three aren't well known for their counter-attacking, and maybe we'll give them field position. Now Ireland will probably win this line out again and put South Africa on defence.
Burn throws, and it's heavily contested. But Ireland do regather.
Leave it wide, leave it wide, leave it wide.
Penalty, Ireland.
One to ground.
Durant, the man singled out.
Yeah, it's a great position now for O'Gara. He's going to look like he put him in the corner again. If the Irish line out, which has been very good so far, if he save the last one maybe, if they can bring it down and get a good body position to get a maul going and try and get in behind the South African side.
There we have the indiscretion by Osdoran. A chance now for Ireland to camp themselves in Springbok territory and try and force the errors.
It's a big line out here for Ireland.
Wait there.
Taken by O'Connell, not contested, but driven back initially. But Ireland well organised, the ball at the back. Still at the back. Playing with patience, Stringer organising his forwards, orchestrating. Working their way into the 22, and this is good from Ireland. Really beginning to get quite a shunt on now. Wallace joins in. The Springboks will have to be careful not to drag this one down, unless they think that they're going to be giving away a 5-pointer. And they'll be trading 3 for 5. Ireland, good start from them in this second half. Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll. Wonderful footwork from O'Driscoll. Quick ball now. O'Gara slapped to the ground there with a double tackle, but the ball crucially comes back Ireland's way. Maggs piling his way upfield.
Leave it white, leave it white.
Kelly.
Leave it 3, get away, that's fine. Leave it 3. Well played.
Ireland through O'Gara looking for the drop goal. Thank you very much.
That was well seen by O'Gara. There was nothing really on. It was great mauling by the Irish pack early on. Great control, great patience. When they went wide after the second phase, O'Gara got caught, and they're lucky to come away here with the 3 points. O'Gara seen nothing on there, and it was a lovely strike.
Playing clinical, brutal rugby into the red zone and out with 3 and taking the lead.
It'll be very important for Ireland now to keep their discipline. If they give away penalties, they'll find themselves stuck back in their own half, and also very kickable penalties for Detroit.
And there is the error. Immediately they scored those 3 points. Foley underneath that one. Maybe the sunlight was getting in his eyes, because it is difficult.
Yeah, Foley, who's been very good under the high ball from kickoffs all day. Just Shane Byrne then going ahead, creating a good scrum.
Van der Westhuizen given straight to Maggs. O'Driscoll gets rid of it.
That was great play by Maggs. He saw the ball coming through and managed to intercept, and really left Ireland off the hook after being under pressure in that scrum.
Relieving the pressure immediately. O'Driscoll deciding not to try and run from his own 22, but playing the percentages.
Yeah, sure.
Maggs read that one beautifully.
Yeah, and then O'Driscoll making amends for maybe the poor clearance earlier, putting Ireland in a good field position.
Taken by Boter at the front of the lineup. Play on, says the referee, and Shane Byrne snaffles that one. Wallace again getting way over the gain line.
Away.
South Africa trying to slow it up, but Ireland knocked that one on. Yeah, maybe that ball should have been left to come back to Stringer. It was never really on for O'Connell there, and a poor handling error.
Berger is down.
Hang on. Number 6 is down. We'll take time off.
So the time will be stopped.
The South African line-out, they've gone to 2 now, the easier line-out to win. Again, O'Connell is challenging very well throughout the line-out there. Wherever they move it, the Irish seem to be getting up now and putting an awful lot of pressure on Schmidt.
Off then.
Berger is back up. His father was a Springbok as well, also called Scout Berger.
And hold, engage.
Dupree puts the ball in. Penalty to South Africa.
Again, that was a tough one to call.
Far side,
He seems to be indicating that Reggie Corrigan brought it down. The Irish scrum has been under pressure, but on that occasion it was hard to tell who actually brought it down.
Reggie.
Toy makes that safe touch. Have a look at this one, Paul.
You can see here, yeah, Andrew's knee actually hits the ground first, so to be quite honest, it probably looked more so that it should have been an Irish penalty.
But the result is that Dupree now works his way round from the line out. Quite a big short side. It's near side, but Durant flicks it out to Van der Westhuizen, and Hubert now flipped it inside. The referee says play on. Tackle comes in from Stringer. Beautifully presented. Ireland in trouble now. Berger taking a Matfield, and that was big tackling. But the ball is coming back. Big chance for the Springboks. It's going to be scored by Julies.
A well-taken try. It looked like there'd been a fumble in the rug, but South Africa managed to move it very well. And Julies, he's got a good eye for a gap, and he took that try very well.
And that has got this crowd onto their feet. It was subdued. This game seesaws from one side to the other.
Yeah, Cronje had made the significant gain in behind the Irish defence, which set up a very good attacking position. Here we see Joubert. It's a loose tap. It's very hard for the Irish defence to adapt. Stringer gets back very well to cover. Then from the slow ruck ball, it did look like a fumble, but then it's very good hands there, and Julies beats O'Gara on the outside.
elation from the home supporters. Maybe they'll be rising to their feet again if Dutoy can add the 2. He's missed it. He wasn't even close.
That's a welcome let-off for the Irish side. Now still only 2 points behind, and remembering that penalties are very kickable from even around the halfway line. You know, it's still very tight.
O'Gara is a very good striker of the ball. So South Africa will hope that they won't rue those missed kicks. Here is Berger. Hits the green wall, and then hits the deck. Dutoy put under pressure and not getting the distance that he did in the first half.
Again, that's giving Ireland a very good position on the 10-metre line with their put-in. I'd imagine they might try and get a maul going again and try and get in behind the South African defence. It's very important, though, that they actually release the back line while going forward and don't wait till they've actually stopped and given the backs no options.
Looks to the tail, but Wanneberg gets his hands on that one. Van der Westhuizen, Julie's the try-scorer, flicking it out to Hubert, and Wallace makes the tackle, covering across there.
Finally has, stay.
South Africa beginning to open up a little bit here.
Right away, hands out!
Berger takes it up. Looking to the short side, Van der Westhuizen releasing Hubert. The tackle still coming in thick and fast, though. Byrne trying to put the scrum half under pressure. Big miss pass. Wanneberg. Pulser.
Botha will be disappointed after scoring the first try from a similar position down the other end. I think he saw he was looking at the try line before he caught the ball. But the South Africans are seeming to grow in confidence as this game goes on. They're playing some great rugby. They're playing from touchline to touchline, which is really stretching the Irish defence, and their handling for the most part has been quite good.
Well, South Africa lost to New Zealand in the World Cup quarter-final. That was their last match. It's been 6 months to wait to scratch the losing itch and get back into victorious ways, but as O'Connell puts his contact lenses back in, Hubert will know how important it is to not just sit on this lead but try to extend it.
Yeah, very much so. They're breaking through the Irish defence quite well, and to be honest, it's a scramble defence by Ireland. They're trying to get back and then come forward again in defence, and they need to slow the ball down if South Africa do get in behind them, giving their defence enough time to readapt.
See there on that graphic that South Africa have attacked wide twice as much as Ireland. 10 times they decided to go wide, try to open the visitors up.
Wait.
Stringer.
Hold, lads.
O'Gara. Such a fluent strike of the ball, and Pulser has to go all the way back, now kicking from his own 22.
Hold, lads.
He got hold of that one as well.
The tactic there of O'Gara not finding touch, waiting for them to kick back, and now it's a very good position. Ireland have their throw in just outside the 10-metre line. Maybe it's what the South Africans should be doing as well.
Just 2 points the difference. South Africa 60, Ireland 40. Shane Byrne to throw in, checks his call with Peter Stringer.
Waiting.
Taken by O'Connell. Kelly is in as well, but quite a drive there from South Africa.
Wait, you are.
Trying to make a mess of any sort of clean line-out ball. O'Gara
Wait.
hits it high. Pulser's underneath it. Dutoy waits as well. Here is Pulser, deciding not to counter and play for territory. O'Kelly goes back. So does Gervin Dempsey. What a kick!
That was great play by Pulser. It looked like it might have been on for a counter-attack. He came up, saw a huge gap in down the right corner and picked a perfect kick in. Put South Africa in a great position now.
The bounce of the ball, well, it was dreamland stuff for the South Africans.
A lot of pressure on this Irish line out.
Byrne, and it's been overthrown straight to Botha. The crowd go bananas.
It's a tactic that Irish sides have been using for a lot of time. It's a two-man line out and the scrum half comes in, but they overcooked it, and Bacchus Botha read it very well, taking it off the back and storming over. Here we see it. O'Connell goes up very high, but the ball seemed to be overthrown. Bacchus adapted and forced his way over the line. Whether it was meant to be to Easterby over the top is hard to know without getting the call, but maybe Easterby didn't come in time.
Bacchus Botha certainly did, and that is try number 2 for the second row. Look how pumped up the Springboks are. And the crowd are getting noisy. This is a real test for Ireland. Can they come back from this one?
The two-man line-out tactic has been one of Ireland's for quite some time and has always been very effective. Maybe South Africa had done their homework and knew that the ball might go over the top, and both have reacted very well.
Detroit, 2 from 5. We'll want to try and improve that percentage. He's missed another one, so Ireland are getting their breaks by Detroit's poor kicking, but South Africa are scoring them in tries.
Very disappointing for Ireland. Their line-out has been a major strong point over the last 2 seasons, and for that to happen, you know, at such a vital time in the game. Yet, you know, they're 7 points behind, and at this altitude, they can go from touchline to touchline. So there's a lot left in this game yet.
Matfield. Tackle comes in from Easterby.
Leave his feet, leave his legs alone.
Lifted up. Dupree clears.
South Africa seem to become in the ascendancy at the moment. Maybe the legs are getting a bit tired, or maybe the lungs. I think it could be a good thing to start looking at the bench for the front 5, maybe looking at the likes of Horan, Sheehan and O'Callaghan maybe to come in and give some fresh legs to the Irish side.
But as we've seen already, one moment of brilliance by the likes of O'Driscoll can turn this match back Ireland's way. O'Gara, here is O'Driscoll deciding to take it up himself. Easterby was seen very early by the South African defenders. They hunted him down.
That's fine, leave it, you got it, No, it's not, it's there.
Stringer. O'Gara.
Hands out wide. Leave it, White, leave it.
Springboks seem to be growing in confidence.
No, get out. Scrum, mess, scrum.
Mess, February. Ireland ball.
Yeah, Ireland finding it very hard to get any go-forward ball, trying to get in behind the gain line. David Wallace is probably their prime ball carrier. He took that up and did quite well. He was tackled by 2 or 3. If only the defender should have been there a bit earlier, because he could have been a turnover.
Hubert and Cronje saw Easterby coming back onto that one and got hold of him very quickly.
Stay down, waiting, back row, stay on.
Linda is on for
stay on, both of you.
The debutant Andrews. Stringer. O'Gara inside his 22.
Again, Ronan will be very disappointed with that clearance, but he's been put under a lot of pressure. The South African defence is really on the front foot. They're really getting up into the Irish side, not giving them a lot of time. He needs more solid ball coming back from the forward so he can dictate the game and find gaps in defence and put Ireland in good field positions.
Taken well by Matfield. Dupree. Botha staying strong. then
Wait.
getting the ball back for Van der Westhuizen. Mens, Dutoy, straightening up.
Hands away, let it come back, let it
Doesn't
come
want to
back.
get shuffled into touch. Dupree, Hubert looks to chip, wants to collect himself, takes a bit of a dive, and the referee says play on. Gervin Dempsey's happy to play on. He then thumps it downfield. Julies goes back, and Matfield, he was outside his 22. That was an error because Julies was waiting inside it.
Great vision by Dempsey. He reacted very well, took the ball on, saw that there was a gap in behind and put a lovely ball downfield.
And it was quickly taken there by Ireland, but the referee has brought them back as we look at this replay of Gervin Dempsey, who did play to the whistle when Hubert went down with a Hollywood dive.
Touch judge. Touch judge.
Ireland raced away there with a quick line out, but brought back. Now good territory for Ireland. Ireland 14, South Africa 21.
Waiting.
Taken by O'Connell.
Hands out wide.
But brought down, so no maul or drive initially could be got by the Irish.
Wait.
Stringer waits. Goes back, says Spreadbury, but South Africa trying to poison any sort of forward rumble that the Ireland boys can get hold of.
It's unfortunate there. Ireland are trying to take South Africa on around the fringes. They're very physical there.
Physio, please.
Uzbeki's both, he's having a fine game today, both in the loose and tight. He's well known for his physical approach to the game, but you know his athleticism has also been shown today.
Stringer couldn't quite get that one away cleanly. Baki's Bota, 6'7", over 18 stones of him. If he goes off, Quinton Davids was a very able replacement, but it's not often the second row takes 2 tries.
Not forget, right, let's get them square in stage 3 when it's all over the field on their ball.
So looking to go into this last quarter of the match. Some nervous faces because Ireland could quite easily cut them open. They've showed that already.
Time on, slow it down,
Very important Ireland get up here and challenge. It's a big time now. 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes left. If they can get disrupt here and get a good field position and start putting South Africa on the defensive again.
Taken though, and Matfield now making a lot of yards before he was tackled. Wannenberg, Van der Linden.
Hands out, leave the ball. Leave it green, leave it green, leave it green, leave it.
Ball in his hands as well, making a few metres. Van der Westhuizen. Julies.
Away.
Bounces the first tackler. Van der Westhuizen now mixing it up a little bit and putting boot to ball. It's all working for the Springboks now.
The Springboks, we've already brought Van der Linden on. He'll add some fresh legs to the South African side. They seem to be totally in control at this stage. Again, O'Gara was fairly well shrugged off in the tackle.
Walker Van der Westhuizen living on the edge, but enjoying it on that occasion. Foley, Corrigan, O'Connell.
Away, hands out.
Really getting ahead of steam up there.
Play on.
Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll. Advantage being played. Spreadbury says knock on. Can't hear the whistle, says Van der Westhuizen.
Again, O'Driscoll looking very dangerous there in the one-on-one situation. Unfortunately, Dempsey sort of mistimed his run and came a bit too early. If he had a bit more depth, maybe here we see it again. O'Driscoll takes it wide. If only Gervin was coming a bit late, maybe he could have had time to catch it and feed onto Horgan outside him.
It's not quite clicking there.
Roll away, 7.
Dupree, Van der Westhuizen. Hubert pulls up, can't pluck that one.
Against South Africa looking very strong on attack. They're playing with smiles on their faces out wide. They're really beginning to enjoy the game, and it's up to Ireland to start putting them under a bit more pressure.
Hubert is a real dangerous customer, and Paul Sewell, we know about his international pedigree. So do the watching supporters. Into the last 20 minutes then.
You see Ireland also adapting now, bringing on the early substitutions as Marcus Horan replaces Reggie Corrigan. Horan is a very, very good ball carrier, and he's been scrummaging very well this season, even though he's quite a light prop in international standards these days.
Cronje leaking a bit of claret, so he goes off. Wallace made the tackle. But it's Shane Byrne to throw in. Jerry Britz comes on. It's tap ball. Horan. Scragged. The ball comes out and Foley takes it up himself.
Get away!
Get away!
Get away!
He says to CJ van der Linde.
A well-needed break for Ireland there. Now if O'Gara can get a good field position with the throw-in as well, they can start building their game again inside the South African half.
Good safe strike from Ronan O'Gara. It's Foley that took it up.
Yeah, Foley's been going through a lot of work. As you can say there, van der Linden, he made no attempt to get away from the ball, and hence Ireland have now got a good field position on the halfway line.
Leave him in the air, play on.
Taken by O'Connell, Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll.
Tackle her away!
Taking up a lot of ball.
Leave it!
Oh, it's kicking off a little bit.
No,
Van der Linde doesn't like something.
I'm going to talk to that guy. See where that's, no problem.
But it's going to be
right. Time off.
Irish penalty.
Thanks. John?
Van der Linde, he's come on, a lot of pent-up pressure on the bench, I would say. He seems to be coming around, and that was very needless. If it's going to be carded now...
You just come on, we had a great quick ball today. You slowed it down up there, and you slowed it down there. Don't you double react, you get on with the game and play positively, right?
Well, I think that's fairly clear.
Yeah, the South Africans, they're making no effort to roll away from the ball, and you know, this needs to be sorted out at this stage. It really slows down any attacking phase play that Ireland try and create.
Jam-packed this stadium.
Okay.
And they will know that this is kickable.
Yeah, normally in this position, Ronan O'Gara will probably be looking at putting the ball into the corner for the forwards. But at this altitude now, it's very, very kickable for someone of O'Gara's ability.
So inside his own half, but of course here at altitude, the ball whistles a lot further. He's got the distance. Oh yes, that is first rate.
Fabulous kick by Ronan O'Gara. You know, he normally wouldn't have attempted something like that, and he'd be delighted. Hopefully also it'll stop the South African side maybe from trying to stop quick ruck ball coming back if they keep getting punished with kickable penalties.
And he had another 5 metres or so on that one, so he would have put that into the back of his mind. Connell can't quite take that cleanly, and so it will be advantage South Africa.
It's fine, first knock on.
Just what the Springboks wanted.
Again, Bacchus both are getting involved. O'Connell and Mallow Kelly have come down here with, you know, world-class reputations, but Bacchus seems to be stealing the day today.
South Africa 21, Ireland now 17, thanks to Ronan O'Gara's three-pointer.
Waiting 7.
Dupree on the best season. Pass goes via the ground to Dutoy, and now it's Pulser cutting his way upfield and through Ireland. Foley gets hold of him, but Pulser shows how dangerous he is in not much space.
Leave it, leave it.
Hubert, de Toy, Ments. Ireland defending for their lives. And de Vesey's looking to go himself. Popped up beautifully. Driven on there by Durant. And now they've got numbers out wide. Matfield, the pass comes in. So do the tackles. Desperate defence from Ireland. Dupree goes himself. Trying to roll his way out of the tackle and over the line.
Ooh. Great scramble defence by Ireland, but it really looked like it was on. He should have drawn his man. He had 3 players outside before this ruck, and here again the snipe went. He's a player very similar to Jus van de Vesthuizen, who used to be very dangerous around that sort of area, but the Irish defence reacted very well on that occasion.
Stringer again there, just helping to block the put down. Held up, says the referee. Ireland need to get themselves out of this hole and sharpish.
Cheers. All right. You want to scan on that or not?
South Africa are just growing in confidence. Here you can see Pulser just stepping again. O'Gara, Foley eventually gets in there to stop them.
Price and hold, engage. Stay out.
South Africa though, with relentless pressure. Wow. Looked like Wanneberg made a mess of that one.
Time out, we'll check it.
The scrum hit in there. Horan seemed to hit the ground and stay there as Van der Linden, and it should keep the height up, and they just stormed right through the Irish scrum, but it looks like he definitely didn't ground it, I would say.
Just check with the grounding of the ball, but it's knocked on before, just prior to
let's have a look.
It down,
it's going up to Nigel Owens, the television match official. On the line is, of course, a try. Paul, over to you.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it came off his hand, so looking at these angles, maybe it is a try.
Crucial call this for the video ref.
Yeah, he didn't seem to touch it with his hand, so it doesn't look like a knock on in that respect.
Fine, okay, so confirm try then.
It's a try. South Africa are extending their lead thanks to Wanneberg.
Yeah, the South African scrum, it threatened to score a try earlier on in the first half, and they eventually got something out of it. I think maybe they were penalised a bit harshly in the first half, and they've got due reward here in the second half. As it was, Horan hit the ground. They managed to stay quite high and just powered through. The South African scrum haven't been attacking the Irish scrum all over the pitch, but close to the line they've been going at it.
He just about gets that one down, but what a powerful drive by the Springbok scrum.
Yeah, the whole Irish scrum just disintegrated there. A lot of referees may have called it back and reset the scrum, but they stayed solid, so I think it's a fair try.
Huffy du Toit, 2 from 6 so far. They haven't even needed his boot. Still, South Africa are in a healthy lead now. He gets hold of that, and he manages to convert Wanneberg's try. Becky's bolter is off, Quinton Davids is on. Just about.
Behind.
Of course, the supporters in no doubt. Ireland need to get hold of this ball and get some points.
Away. Leave it.
Dupree. Foley's underneath it. Takes it well. And now picks his target. Paulson makes the tackle. Stringer. O'Gara.
Get on with it.
Maggs. Scragged by Matfield. O'Connell now. Straight. Trying to suck in the fringe Springbok defence.
Away.
Bashed up.
Leave it out wide, leave it wide.
Gaining another metre or so. Van der Linde is all over it.
Get away, get away. Advantage.
Driscoll in the middle of it. Advantage, Ireland. Stringer. O'Kelly trying to take the long route.
Still playing advantage, not rolling away.
Still playing advantage, says Spreadbury. O'Gara. Connell.
Thank you.
Spreadbury says OK, back for the penalty.
Yeah, again, just like the previous penalty that O'Gara kicked, the South Africans are slowing the Irish ball down, but they're doing it illegally by not rolling away after tackling the player in possession. And again, O'Gara, he's in a good field position, but at 28-17 now and 10 minutes to go, they might even look at going into the corner.
Driscoll trying to bash his way through Oz Duran. And receiving a little bit of attention. Remember, Gordon Darcy already left the field in the first half, and it's Ireland that decide to take a quick one. Jordan Murphy, always so alive to the threat.
Leave it.
Kevin Maggs there. Stringer. O'Connell trying to catch the Springboks napping.
Leave it. Run away, hands out.
Ireland need to try and do something a little bit special here, and Jordan Murphy is capable
No, he's not. You've got the ball.
of unlocking the tightest of defences. Not there though. Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll. It's a nasty pass, and it now goes to Hubert. Ireland have to go all the way back, and O'Driscoll covers. Maurice Hubert was put into touch in no uncertain fashion.
Yeah, O'Driscoll making up there for the error. He's trying to be a bit more creative with the time on the clock and the amount of points Ireland are behind, but he made up with a super tackle down there, which, you know, I think was quite fair. Here we see O'Gara he goes once, he goes twice, it's not on. He probably should have just held up, but decides to try and risk it, but then eventually does come back and takes Hubert out with a classic tackle. Even if it was a little bit late, maybe.
Well, the end result is one that Ireland will settle for. It's a Shane Byrne throw-in on the halfway line, taken nicely and whipped out by Stringer. Now O'Driscoll to O'Gara. Driscoll caught there by Julies. Ireland trying to create a little bit of momentum. Stringer checking his options. Foley says, I'm the man to take it up. Maggs, route one. As is often his way, O'Connell in to get his hands on the ball more and more in this second half. Turnover, penalty.
Yeah, Ireland are playing totally into the South African hands. They're just playing around the strongest part of the South African game, around the fringes. They're hitting it, and eventually South Africa get their hands on the ball. The Irish are getting very slow, getting in there and to support the guy with the ball. Again, I'd say maybe one or two more substitutions up front are probably needed, because they seem to be quite out on their feet at the moment.
As O'Connell taking it up, Quinton Davids wrapping him. And that was where the turnover happened. A penalty coming.
Again, you can't give away penalties around the halfway line, well within Dutoit's range of kicking.
Within his range, but can he hit the target? That's the question. 3 from 7, not the return he would have wanted, but he'll be very happy with the scoreboard. Even happier if he can add another 2. 3 rather. The crowd are cheering because they know he's bisected the uprights.
The Ireland have to really take it back at South Africa now. It looks like Quinlan and Sheehan are warming up to come off the bench and hopefully give the extra bit of fresh legs that the Irish side need. They seem to be struggling, but more so they've actually got to be a bit more patient in their sort of game and try and get a bit of continuity going. And I think if they just play around the sides, you know, and just run at the big South African forwards around the fringes of rocks, it's just not going to work for them.
So Wallace is being replaced. On comes Quinlan. Shane Byrne is off. Frankie Sheehan is on. O'Gara switching it. Corrigan's underneath that. Flicked it back in, Maggs.
Hands out wide.
Very well played. Regathered now by Ireland. Stringer looking to dart and go himself. And the Vesthuizen caught him. But there's a rumble on now, thanks to the little scrum half. And Driscoll's getting in there.
Leave it, White, leave it, White.
Stringer, O'Gara, O'Connell. Double tackle coming in there. Penalty Ireland, but it's been reversed.
No feet at all. Leave it. I got rid of him. I dealt with him. Leave him.
Just what Ireland didn't need.
Yeah, frustration there. South Africa have been killing the ball a lot and not rolling away. And O'Kelly just used the feed. It didn't look like anything too dangerous, and maybe a bit of a harsh penalty.
Get off! Off.
Dutoy has the ball in his hands.
Reverse decision. You had the penalty.
And he's going to thump this one deep into Irish territory. Pretty modest by his huge standards, but Scout-Berger getting a bit on the throat, actually, from Malcolm O'Kelly.
Yeah, actually, looking at it on the screen there, it actually was more of a stamp than a clean, and maybe it was due a reversal in the penalty.
So 5 minutes left, and South Africa comfortably ahead.
Wait there.
And the system's really working. Dupree
roll away, Green.
Not being closed down so quickly, but
no way.
it spits out. And now Ireland
advantage over.
Take it up inside their own half. Stringer.
Get away,
Foley.
two.
Pick and drive now from Ireland.
I've dealt with it. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that.
Being called back by the whistle.
Right, I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that. Right, I'll deal with that.
Spreadbury is not happy about something.
Time off.
You know, Ireland seem to have lost their composure. Their traditional game they played all season.
You let yourself down. You've let yourself down.
Berger is off for 10 minutes. You've let yourself down, says Spreadbury.
Still time off.
Yeah, the Irish traditional game of that they've been playing for the last season or two of kicking the ball into the corners. That's what they need to do, get good field position and not to be taken around the fringes against the South Africans. With that, Horan seems to be down now as well, and he's actually just come on as a replacement.
Okay, thank you.
Scout-Berger, for some reason, is receiving a standing ovation for being sent to the sin bin. That was nasty, and he shouldn't be getting an applause for that. Right arm come flying in there.
Silly John.
O'Gara now encouraging his team. One last big effort. He got the position now. Frankie Sheehan. Easterby with the line-out take, and Stringer, little inside flick to Foley. Oh, the door closed on him very quickly. Turnover.
Turnover ball. He knows.
Again, Ireland looking at sniping around the fringes. The South African defence is very solid there. Maybe they should be trying to look at getting the ball to O'Driscoll in a bit of space and trying to create something out there. Maybe not go, score from first phase, but build there and stretch the South African defence.
We've hardly seen Jordan Murphy with space which to work something special.
Steady. Come back. Don't fade away.
Clashing heads.
Don't fade away.
We'll put the ball in again.
Okay, thank you. Put it in. Crouching, hold, engage. Waiting, stay down.
South Africa not looking for touch from
leave it,
the scrum immediately, rather taking it up.
Get away, leave it, go back, leave it, leave it, leave it.
Dupree, Dutoy, and the Vesthuizen. He gets it off the pitch now.
Again, they're inside the South African 10-metre line, so a good position for Ireland. Whether they maul now or decide to move it a bit wider, personally I think they should probably try and get the ball to O'Driscoll. He's dangerous every time he's got the ball in space.
Jordan Murphy saunters across. Can they strike from a set-piece move here? Sheehan needs to do his job. He does. Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll, and Maggs is through! Lovely pass from Maggs. Wonderful. And now it's Horgan trying to finish it off. The Springboks get hold of that ball and Pulser gets it off.
That's much more like it. I think Ireland have to try and stretch that South African defence. There's nothing in tight, no room there at all. You know, the ball goes out to O'Driscoll. He draws a lot of attention. Kevin Maggs running a very hard line and a great pass. Dempsey draws his man. Horgan cuts inside, holds his feet very well. And the end result is a line out in a very good position for Ireland.
But it's initially been stolen. The ball goes back. Ments has to dot it down. Ments, which is Fourie Dupree, sorry.
Don't waste time.
And Jake White will be very pleased with this first outing of his inexperienced side. Du Toit hits it long and just invites Ireland to try and work it from deep. Dempsey just sees a white wall of tacklers. Stringer. Here is Murphy.
Leave it, White! Leave it!
O'Gara. And now Easterby. Foley flips it inside to O'Connell.
Leave it, White! Leave it!
Stringer. O'Gara thinks he's seen some space. But Durant, great shadow, closes it down. Stringer just wants to get rid of it. Ireland need to keep this possession. Advantage being played to Ireland. They'll get the penalty. Remember, the Springboks are still down to 14 men, will be for the rest of this game as we go into the last few seconds of this match. Can Ireland get the last points of the afternoon? And here is O'Driscoll. It's the skipper looking for 5 points himself. The tackle comes in, comes back to Horgan, and here is Foley flipping it into Stringer. Could it be brilliant from Ireland right at the death? There is the final whistle. South Africa have won. The final score, South Africa 31, Ireland 17.
So, disappointment for Brian O'Driscoll and the Irish. They've gone down by 31 points to 17. They must have thought they had a really good chance of picking up their first ever win on South African soil. Still